Well, let's see what I got. It's kind of a slow start to the morning here. I'm going to do a tip of one video, but I got something on here. Not fighting very hard, but he's got some weight to him. Probably doesn't know he's hooked until he gets up here to the boat, and then he's going to fight. Probably be a catfish. These catfish do chase down my live rigs. I guess we'll see what we got. Ooh, yeah. You see, he's up at the boat now. Let's get the net ready. So we never know what we got. He's fighting now, so he's... Oh, that's a nice eye there. Oh! Woo! That is a nice eye right there, boys and girls. Yes! Check this out. Oh, yeah. Look at that fish. That is a nice looking fish. And he's got some girth too. He is good size. Look at that. He is nice. Let's get him in the well. He's a keeper. Woo! Morning, grunts. I'm probably lacking a little bit of adventure material. That's what I promised on the channel. I've been kind of lacking in that area, but figured this morning was a beautiful morning. I mean, it's late morning, but it's still a beautiful morning to be out on the lake. I was going to start this video a little sooner because the fishing was really slow. I think it probably still is slow, but I got the camera set up and kind of got a position where I was wanting to sit on the boat. I'm sitting at the captain's console here. Got 2 lines out. Just kind of dragging about 1.1 mile an hour, dragging some crawler rigs. I did manage to just pull in an 18-inch walleye, which will be at the beginning of this video, by the way. I recorded that. And so what I want to talk about, just kind of general stuff, things I observed here kind of recently, and just kind of random thoughts. I don't really have a specific show topic per se, but I'm going to kind of keep this video short and sweet. You guys probably remember me mentioning to you, I was out at, I rode up to north of Guernsey, Wyoming, to my uncle's place with my mom and her husband. We took a cow-calf pair and a horse up there, and talking to her about her, my mom's the oldest of 5 children. She's the oldest of 4 younger brothers. So her older brother, or the oldest brother of the 4, would be her brother Jim. And we went out there, and that's where we went to take this cow-calf pair and this horse. But kind of talk to my mom about my Uncle Jim's life. The guy, in my opinion, was quite a catch for the man, for the man that he is. He's hardworking. He's financially stable. This guy used to work in diesel shops for the Burlington Northern Railroad in Guernsey, Wyoming. I think he worked at 2 different shops during his career. I think he started out in Alliance, and he went to, I think, Gillette or Sheridan, and then down into Guernsey is where he finally settled. But this is the kind of guy that would he was also a cowboy. Those kids grew up on a ranch south of Seneca, Nebraska, up in the Sandhills, and this guy would rodeo. I think he was mainly a steer wrestler. I don't know for sure, but he rodeoed on a weekend, so which meant this guy would work probably midnights at the shop, at the diesel shop, get off work at 7 in the morning. All right, I seem to be having some tech difficulties maybe, but we'll keep going. But anyways, this guy would get off work at 7 in the morning, head to a local rodeo or somewhere around the area, rodeo all morning, and probably sleep the rest of the day away when you got home, and then went back to work and did all over again if it was a weekend. So yeah, ladies, I have a guy. This be my Uncle Jim. Now granted, he's retired. He's happily retired. He retired, I think, 6 or 7 years ago from the rail industry. He lives north of Guernsey, about 7 or 8 miles north of Guernsey. He's got a nice spread of ground right there at the foothills of the Rocky Mountains. He's got probably 80 to 100 acres. He manages about 55, 60 head of cattle up there. But when you go to this place, it's a nice, very nice place. It's not not like a custom built brick home like you see a lot of people. It's not a McMansion. It's a nice modest home for a bachelor, for a lifetime. I wouldn't say he was a lifetime bachelor. This guy's been married twice, got one son. I've got a cousin, I'd be his son, that's probably a couple weeks, 2-3 weeks younger than me. Him and his first wife divorced. I kind of got the understanding that first wife is she was a little crazy, had some mental issues upstairs. He did marry again. Years later. There's probably about 25-year gap between the marriages. So he decides to think, well, 25 years ought to be enough to try this racket again, which, understandably, it's like that. And he raised his son on his own, so he was a single dad. So he did all this while being a single dad, which is quite impressive. So about 25 years, give or take, excuse me, guy. I got 2 lines out, so I'm kind of watching my pulls here. But 25 years later, he decides to remarry again to a woman. Her kids are grown. I guess she had one that kind of stayed home. But that marriage only lasted probably 5-6 years, and then she ended up divorcing him. And then I just kind of got the understanding that he's just like, fuck it, I'm done. He's kind of one of them guys where, you fuck me once, shame on you. Fuck me twice, shame on me kind of man, and I'm kind of that way too. I try not to let it get to where it's fuck me twice, shame on me scenario. But you look at what's going on in society, the quality of women that are out there, and I'm not bagging on the women. The majority of the women are not quality women. I was just talking to a gal the other day. She's kind of freshly divorced, been separated from her husband for a while, but they just finally got their divorce settled. And her friends were giving her shit about, well, why aren't you going through a hoe phase? And so I told this girl, I said, you don't want to do that. I said, you don't want to desecrate your body like that. You don't want to have multiple sexual partners. As I said, if you do that, I said, then that will control your lifestyle, will control your livelihood. If you go out there and you get on the cock carousel and you spend your weekends chasing dick, sucking dick, sitting on dick, whatever you're doing with dick, I said, you do that for a couple years. I said, you'll never find a quality man. You'll never find a man that will want to settle down with you. Because I told her, I said, your past will matter to that guy. I said, it will matter to that man. It will, just like a man's success, his future, a woman looks at that. It's like a man will look at a woman's past. What has she done to her body? How many guys has she slept with? How many sexual partners has she had? And so, good for her for not jumping in and doing those things. You don't want to ruin your body like that. You don't want to ruin yourself. And so, yeah, I just found those things quite interesting. I really was thinking about my Uncle Jim's scenario, and after being out of his place, that was about a month ago now, close to it, kind of made me realize that, I think a lot of guys, a lot more and more guys, I've always had the feeling, or the enough data to support the belief that a lot of men are choosing to live on their own. They're choosing to not enter into that space of marriage, or choosing not to have a woman in her life. They're learning that it's easier to go without than to have that, you know, and it's in our biological firmware to procreate, to reproduce, to have children, to keep the bloodlines going, to keep the gene pool flush and good and all that. But you know, we're slowly learning that as society is progressing in the direction it's going, it's harder and harder for a guy and women too. I'm not, like I said, I'm not just gonna pick on the girls, but it's harder for both sexes to pair bond with the quality individual when that quality has been disappearing left and right. And I get field reports from mostly guys, because you know, this is what this channel's for, is to kind of guide men, help men out. But I also get field reports from the women, because women are like, hey, wait a minute, there's a small percentage of women out there that want that meaningful relationship. They want that marriage. They want that long-term relationship. They want that fruitful relationship where you know, two people can live happily ever after. And I totally support that. But now, you know, you look at 2024, and the divorce rate's still climbing, the marriage rates are still declining, and then I hear more often than not that the birth rate is also declining. So you're kind of in a position there where people just aren't interested in the opposite sex anymore, and that's always something to think about. But anyways, guys, I'm going to carry on with my day. Might see if I can get another fish or two. That fish I did land was an 18-inch walleye. I mean, he was girthy. There will be a video of me catching that fish at the beginning of this video, so stay tuned for that. He is a good sized fish, been eating good, so he's a hog. So until next time, guys, take care of yourselves, and if you're gonna be stupid, you better be wealthy. Toodles.